Good morning, guys. I think I'm on time, maybe a few seconds late. Good morning, Carbon Q, Grand Rising. Just gonna wait for some more people to get in here. I didn't put my notification up till like an hour ago. You know, I'm just not tardy with those things, but I'm here. I'll give you guys a chance to get in. Got my biscuit and my drink. I didn't bother make some tea, but I have my coconut water. So I'm here. I'll put the camera on shortly. Let me just make sure my stream is okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tammy. I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to get on, because it is early for some people. I've been up since about 6:30. I probably should put some laundry on, but I'll put it on after. That's what I should do in the mornings. Put the laundry on first on Saturdays. I just do it whenever I feel like doing it. But how's everybody doing this morning? I'm doing well. Just trying to get stuff done, guys. Just trying to get stuff done. Winter is coming. You feel that chill in the air. And time to get stuff done. So I'm watching a lot of prepping videos of things I should have been doing for years to prep for winter, prep the house for winter. Oh, you're doing laundry? Yeah. I don't leave it. I like to do it right away because it's the job that never ends, doing laundry. So I did some in the week already. So I'm good. Good morning, Vision Preparedness. Well, yeah, I watched your it was you I was watching. I think it was, or you must have mentioned in someone's, I think you mentioned in GT's live, you're going to be splitting wood. Yeah, exactly. Getting ready for the winter. I think it was you that was mentioning, um, you were mentioning cleaning the eaves trough or your gutters. I've never cleaned them ever in this house. So I'm going to have to work on that. I think my camera is too set up higher. I have to clean my rain gutter, so someone has that long sticky thing that can kind of curve in and reach. I don't like climbing ladders. I will do it, but if I have to go extra high, I really don't feel comfortable. And someone's not always there to help you. I had somebody who was on a ladder and the ladder fell from under them. So from that, it's kind of like I have to have somebody there, and people don't always have time to come to hold the ladder for you. So I'm just not going up the ladder going forward. And you guys can type in hashtag urban to drop your links. I'll start with topics in about a few minutes when people kind of come in. I'm eating a biscuit, sorry, excuse me. A tea biscuit with no tea. I'm having coconut water. I don't feel like having tea just yet. Yeah, is it the gutters you're talking about? Okay, you're talking about something. I thought it was the rain gutters. Maybe it was something else. But something about cleaning out the leaves. So I'm doing that. I always change my furnace filter. That's done. I always clean the leaves from the drains and from whatever. And I put them in my compost. Good morning, my Renaissance grandma. I know you always working, lady. We know how that is. Early birds. What else did I have to do? I turn off the outside waters, drain the hoses so that they don't freeze in the wintertime, put that away. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do when you're a homeowner, man. It's overwhelming. But good morning, Renaissance grandma. Good to see you. I watched some of your videos yesterday. So I'm not caught up with your videos, but almost there. Almost. And I do have a fireplace that I've never used. And I know I have to get it cleaned or burn that special brick, but I'm going to get it cleaned and checked out because I had to pay to get the chimney re-bricked because the brick was broken down. So the guy came and redid it, but I've never used the fireplace. I've never had one in the house before. So it's just something that's kind of like a fear you're kind of afraid to use it. So I'm gonna get someone to come and look at it and then learn how to use it properly, because that can heat up the whole house and not have to pay for all this heating. Like, duh. But the only problem with the fireplace is that it's in the apartment downstairs. So I have it rented out because, I'm a house hacker. But she doesn't mind if I have to go in and out there to like put the wood in and take care of the fireplace if it's going to benefit us being warmer. So that's the only thing. That's kind of why I haven't pushed to use it. Good morning, Bougie. So I'm going to start in another, maybe a few minutes. So if you guys want to get a hot drink or, do your greetings, I'm going to just take a few more minutes because I don't want to. Good morning, Triple Threat. I don't want to have to go back with my disclaimer. Well, I probably have to go back either way, but give people time to get in. Oh, I'm missing the chat. So good morning, Triple Threat. Yeah, it's great, but I am working on the kerosene heater. We have two. My parents had two because they were preppers from the jump. They were preppers, but we just didn't call it that. And let me just show you what I got as well, guys, since I'm sitting here. I did get the water purification tablets, but I'll show you them since they're in my. I have a bag like this bag thrown together with all the stuff. I'm gonna get a bin and properly sort things in certain groups, like water sanitation, hygiene bin, and like an all-purpose bin. So I got this. I'm gonna try to bring it right up to the. It's a Ziploc bag, and it has 100 water purification tablets, and the brand is called AquaTab. Okay, that you can see that. It's called AquaTabs. I got it off of Amazon. It says here 100 tablet pack, water purification tablets. So that was mentioned in Starduster and Bougie's live. I've never had these before in my life. I never heard of them, so I made sure I got them. They're small. They almost feel like two pain tablets in a little pre-packaged thing, but it's not perforated, so that's a bit annoying. So I'm gonna have to probably cut them into. That's a bit dumb. They're not pre-perforated so that you can just rip off the one that you need. But these are 100 tablets. It's very small. Doesn't take up a lot of space. So I'm going to put that in my water purification tote once I get that organized in the garage. That's not the topic today, but I'll mention it. And then I also, I mentioned, and I think Vision mentioned as well, keeping your old 5-gallon jugs when you buy water. So I filled up 4 of them. There's 2 in each washroom. So if there's no water, I have them labeled as emergency sanitation. So when people come to my house, like, why do you have all these extra waters all over the place? That's why. So I have them set up. I have extra empty jugs that I do use to water the plants, and I was going to use them for like a drip feed, but I'm going to fill them up and put them in the back of the garage and have them labeled as just sanitation. So if something happens, I have enough, hopefully, for myself, and I have a few extra in the garage that I could give to my tenant if she needs to have water to wash your face, brush your teeth, that kind of thing. That's what I've been doing. Is it 1 gallon? Okay, yeah, one. For me, it's 4. You know what? I mix up the liters and the gallons. So for us, it's 5 liters. You guys call it a gallon jug, but yeah, it's a 5-liter jug. Same thing. When you buy them, keep them. So I'm working on stuff in the meantime, even though, I'm not talking about prepping. I'm here gathering stuff. And I also got my book yesterday from Amazon, The Amish Book of Canning, because I'm going to be pulling out my canner that I've never used, and I'm going to start, getting that stuff together and canning my food. I was hoping to can today with Gina and TT, but then TT put out a video that you're supposed to test your canner before you use it, which I haven't done yet. I was just going to just take it out the box, get some chicken and start canning. And that's obviously a no-no. So I'm going to test it today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to can with them today. And that's what I was hoping to really do to kind of get me jump started in canning. Yeah, tons. I have tons of jugs. I was keeping it for the garden, and I am going to keep it for the garden, but I'm doing a little at a time. Everybody's talking about a harsh winter. I definitely believe it's a harsh winter coming. That's why we're getting the kerosene heaters together. So my dad has a big metal drum of kerosene oil from, I would say, over 20 years. They don't sell the big metal drums anymore. And right now you get the big 1 gallon plastic jugs. So we bought a plastic jug as well, so that we can use the jugs to pour off the big drum into the smaller, carry-on ones. But there's one kerosene heater that is stuck in the furnace room because there was renovations done, walls put up, and there's not enough room to move it through the opening. So we're going to have to probably cut something out to fit it through the, this is the problems of renovations and people doing work and not thinking ahead 10 steps. Yeah, the Amish book. I think it's okay. I think they overcharged me, but in this day and age, you just got to get what you can get, because you can't be nickeling and diming. I should have bought them years ago. So I paid the price, got it delivered, and I have it here. What else did I do for prepping? Well, you saw my knife already, but I took it out. I got my knife. Oh, and you all know about these already. This is nothing new, but over here, bleach tablets. I never heard of bleach tablets until I started watching you all on prepping, and I got bleach tablets. It's easier to carry. You can clean your water, make a cleaning solution. I don't know, whatever. I'll figure it out, but I got bleach tablets, so that's what I'm doing. So let's go to the topic now. So my topic today is, do snitches get stitches? And my disclaimer is this, because people may say, oh, you're talking about somebody, and I'm not. This topic has been in the queue for a while. Thank you. Yeah, that's good, Bougie. I'm learning from you guys. Don't worry, I'm learning. So this topic has been in the queue for a minute, but I delayed it because I was still dealing with a neighbor that we're having issues with. So I didn't want to talk about things when they're still happening. So I know many of us were in Black's live yesterday, and we know what happened with them, but I'm not talking about them. So if you think that this topic is pertaining to them, it's not. This was in the works from before. It just so happens that other people are having the same issue. So this topic was already in the queue. So we all talk about, we don't like HOAs. Over here we have condominium corporations. It's not really called a HOA. Condominium corporations can either have townhouses or apartment buildings or buildings. And there's rules and regulations. Over here, freehold townhomes mean there's no rules. You can do what you want, kind of. Well, not what you want, but you can do what you want. And then there's the city that you live in. They have rules and regulations that you need to follow. And they really only get involved if somebody complains. So I've mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about real estate, I had a complaint, a citation at a rental property because the lawn was not even lawn. There's no lawn there really. It's just a rock garden, but the weeds were so tall, they're at least 4 feet tall. So obviously the neighbor called because it was in the backyard, and it's not something that the city is going to see from the street. That's actually fine because it got addressed. So that's what I'm talking about. Do snitches get stitches? We as neighbors, if we have to call on our neighbor, is that considered snitching when a problem does need to be addressed? What do you think? Do you give your neighbors a time limit? Do you approach your neighbors? I don't feel comfortable approaching every neighbor. I don't think it's my job to approach them, and you really don't know how they're going to react when you tell somebody that your yard is nasty. Even if you say it politely, even if you use all the correct words, you're basically saying your yard is nasty, your backyard is disgusting, clean up all the rubbish and the accoutrements and clean up your stuff. That's what you're saying. There's no two ways about it, and they may not take kindly to you telling them anything. That's why most of us don't get involved. We don't say anything. In my situation, I've been living here for a few years. It has been a problem from day one, and it's progressively gotten worse. That it's gotten better where they've cleaned up, and you don't want to tell on people because I know there's some health issues over there in that home that's affecting things being able to be done, and you have compassion. There's a burden on two people, and now it's only on the one person because somebody else in the family has moved out. So there's a heavy burden, and they may not be able to cope and manage all that's going on. But from my perspective, it's been several years, and it's becoming a problem. And I did mention a few things to them because I was seeing we have mice. I back onto nothing. There's no homes. There's nothing behind me. There's a train track. So, I have raccoons. You don't know I have squirrels. There's skunks. There's a possum. Sometimes there's groundhog. So obviously there's going to be mice, but they don't come to the house. I try to keep, my yard clean. I put poison at the top in that shed so that, they're up there. I planted lavender, mint. You have all kind of plants that they don't like the smell. I have rosemary. I have a lot of thyme and sage. You spray mouthwash and that whatever natural mix to make it smell minty. You try to keep your place clean because you don't want mice in your home. But if your neighbor's not keeping their yard clean and they're not even mowing their lawn, it's going to affect you. No matter how clean you keep your yard, it's going to be a problem. So that's what happened. I hate HOA. That's why I sold my house 2 years after I built it and moved to the country. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. Now, nobody likes HOAs or condominium boards or anything like that. But I guess they do have their place when people don't keep their properties in a suitable fashion. The long and short, I had a city called on, well, not me. And the one thing I don't like about this, when the city gives you a citation, if you don't live there, it's a rental property, they don't send it to you. They put it on the property. So you have to make sure you're visiting your properties regularly so that you see if it's a pink paper they put on, a big old pink paper. And people passing by will think it's an eviction notice. But anyways, let me see what Bougie's saying. I had a neighbor above who heard dead people. She called the police every other day saying we were making noise. So what, you did? So yeah, so I'm gonna just keep talking, but I'll drop the link because but the disclaimer. So no, I'm not talking about the blacks per se. This is what I was dealing with. It just so happens they're dealing with it on the receiving end of having somebody call on them. So right. So that's the problem I was having. I didn't want to, and the sidebar to the problem is, which has nothing to do with the problem, but it does affect some people, is that me being black, you think twice before calling authorities on a black neighbor, especially a black male neighbor. You do think twice because you don't want something that's a simple problem to escalate into something else. But I'm not going to discuss that. That's a separate conversation. But that's sometimes why I delay in calling, because I don't want it to become something else. And so that's why I didn't call. But a call had to be made. I didn't make the call. Other neighbors ended up calling because the problem went from the back of the property to the front. And now they're seeing the problem. They're seeing the debris, the lack of dealing with, a storm came, knocked down a tree in their yard. It blocked the sidewalk. It blocked the sidewalk for a few weeks. Kids couldn't even walk to school without going into the road to get away from the debris. So finally he cleaned that up, but then he just threw it in a pile, and the garbage people aren't going to pick it up. You have to cut them down to size. You have to tie them in bundles. There's rules to dumping garbage, or you have to put them in small bits in a yard waste bag, and then they'll take it. But the storm happened in March, and it's now September, and only recently was the issue addressed. The other issue was that I saw him at 2 o'clock in the morning. I went to the washroom or something, or I went to get a drink, something. And I saw a big fire in the back. And this is when I was telling you guys on the lives that I'm in a drought and the lawn was brown. And if you light a match, I said jokingly, if you light a match, the whole thing's going to start burning. During that time at 2 o'clock in the morning, he was burning. So I guess he was burning all the limbs and debris because he didn't know what to do with them. That again is not my problem. And we're not in Jamaica anymore. So you don't go and start burning bush and burning brush over here in the GTA. That's not allowed. Some places you can't even burn a fire pit. So I was like, what's going on here? So I took a picture. The next day I told my other neighbor. Then they pretty much told me off. You didn't call the police? You didn't? What if the place burned down? And they were vexed. They were vexed. I don't even know who to call. I was like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't even like awake properly. Good morning, Psalms 146. I wasn't even awake properly. And that's not a 911 issue. And no, man, if the place, if you burn down, nigga burn down. So they're worrying, and it's true. And it's like, and then they're sleeping. And if you don't come and wake us up, we're not going to know what's going on to run from the fight. I said, you know what? And I realized how serious it is. Because, and then he was pissed because he's like, do you know how dry the ground is? Do you know how dry the grass is? I go, who are you telling? The lawns are brown or hey. He was like, any little, spark that came out the fire pit could have put on the lawn and that would have been it for all of us. And I said, and he goes, what if our house burned down? Do you have money for those in a hotel? Where are we going to stay? It was a whole thing. Hey, can't stop walking but love mowing. And yeah, you have an HOA problem too, I saw. So I realized, oh, shoot, okay, this ain't no joke. Like, I have to call. So basically, for the last few weeks in September, we haven't been sleeping that well. Because we kind of been sleeping on, okay, do I hear a crackling of fire? Do I smell smoke? So you can call. I was told I had to call when the fire was burning. I couldn't take a picture and call them after to come and talk to him. I had to call them when the fire was burning. I didn't think it was accurate. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to argue with people because sometimes you get lie information from the city. So they gave me a number to call the non-emergency fire department. So you don't call 911, but you call the number and say, okay, there's a problem, a fire-related problem, but it's not a 911 emergency. So they come knowing that it's not like they have to rush and, it's communicated to the fire brigade. So the neighbor was coming into my yard at night to see if he could see them lighting a fire or catch them. He was going in his own backyard to see if he would catch them. Because at this point, this is serious. This is going to affect you. So that's why we're talking, do snitches get stitches? There obviously has to be a time and place where you have to complain because it's not a joking matter. This could affect the whole block. If somebody's carelessness and fire starting goes wrong, it could affect the whole block. I was not even cooking in my barbecue for the summer because it was so dry. It was dangerous. I didn't want to have any sparks or any coal or anything, causing a risk. So that's why I wasn't using the barbecue. The long and the short is, finally, I caught him one night and it was at 10 o'clock. It wasn't even like late in the night. So it was early. I got up, got my phone. I called the number. I told them, they asked for my name and my phone number and my address. I told them. So that's why I can talk about it now because I had to tell them my name. So if he finds out it's me, it doesn't bother me. I'm sorry, not sorry. You were putting other people's properties at risk and other people's lives in danger because if you're burning fires at 2 o'clock in the morning, people are sleeping. I sometimes get up in the night, but people are sleeping and you are at the mercy of them having a good smoke detector, monoxide, being able to wake up and just hear a crack. Like you're putting people in danger because if you're burning at 2 o'clock in the morning, you weren't supposed to be burning the debris. You're doing it because you don't want to dispose of it properly. And you want to just do it and sneakily, everyone's sleeping, no one's going to see me. The fire was, to tell you the fire, I was about, I don't know, feet to yards, I don't even know. Let's just say 50 feet from where he was burning the fire from the back window. And the fire looked to be about 2 to 3 feet high from that distance. So you don't know the fire was just blazing, blazing. The fire lit up the entire sky. There is no way that somebody would wake up in the night and not see this bright glow in the sky. That's how big and blazing the fire was, because he's burning logs and tree limbs and all the different stuff that was just piled up at the front. Then I heard he put the debris in the truck, in his big van. So now, and this is the same property that somebody unleashed the raccoon because they couldn't be bothered to dump it somewhere else. So this is what's been going on over here. So do you think there is a place for HOAs? And I know we all hate them, but there must be a place for them. Why there's so many of them? And what do you think HOAs should be involved in? So if you have an HOA, what things should they be involved in, and what things should be none of their business? That's what I'm trying to ask, if I'm trying to be clearer. So let's talk. I put the link down. You guys can come up if you'd like, or you can talk in the chat. And sometimes we get behind in maintenance of stuff. We all. My yard is not looking too good right now, but it's things are happening. I'm doing some projects before the summer is out. But when people consistently keep their lawn a certain way, it's a problem. So, are you a snitch? Let's see what Can't Stop Walking. I gotta learn your real name because that's a long name. They should not be able to take your home, like you hear of these. Oh, they can take your home in the States? They can't take your home here, but they can give you fines, a lot of fines. But I don't believe they can take your home. That's not in their power. And that definitely, if that is true, that shouldn't be allowed. That's out of line. Unless they're offering to buy you out so that you can move somewhere else because they don't want you there anymore. If that's, is that appropriate? Hi, we don't want you here no more. We're going to buy your house at market value so you can go leave. That would lead to a lot of other things. Oh, you don't fit in here. You're not the right something. Let's see. Hold on. No, they can only fine you, but maybe force you to sell it. Oh, they can force you to sell. That's a lot of stress. Just to, they should always give you a list give you a list, have that fixed by such and such date. Like, for example, winter is coming. You need to start working on your mulch in September. Okay, I see what you're saying. So yeah, that would be to me would be feasible. Give everybody a calendar, and with like the January, these things have to be done. Well, in my climate, that's nothing. It's just, oh no. In my climate, it would be make sure your snow is shoveled within 24 hours of a snowfall, which is what the city says here. After a snowfall, you should have things shoveled by 24 hours. So that's reasonable. A February list, March, April, your spring list. Hey, African Dreaming. Just a schedule so that you as a homeowner who is busy living life can keep track and say, okay, September is coming. I have to do these 10 things. So then you can kind of plan your time. I think that would work better. But this citation, so I'm going to pick on Can't Stop Walking. He posted a short that his wife called him and said they got a citation. I call it citation, whatever, warning or a fine from the HOA that their mulch is too old. Good morning, Naturally, Nikisha. How is mulch too old? Maybe you need to explain that to me, Can't Stop Walking. How is mulch too old? So it's not looking lustrous, like it's not looking black and brown and rich? Because don't people just paint the mulch? Anyways, so I don't know how my mulch is your problem. That to me is ridiculous. But he got a note. His wife called him and said it has to be fixed in 10 days. He's a truck driver, so he may not even be back in that time frame unless she's going to do it. So I guess she had to do it. I'm not sure how they worked it out, but or he went back early or he got, I don't know what happened, but he was given 10 days to go get mulch. And even the whole obnoxiousness about it. Mulch costs money. Like you sometimes people are just breaking even, just you know, just holding it together. And mulch may seem like, oh, it's only like $2 a bag, but to somebody that's like, I don't have that $2 right now. I have to budget for that. So back to the calendar. If they had a calendar and knew that mulch was something that was coming up, they could have been planning for it from July. Not, here's a fine. You have 10 days to do it. And if you don't do it in 10 days, they're going to fine you so much money that it's not even worth arguing with them. So he had that issue, right? He posted it on his because I'm trying to catch up on people who I've been supporting, but I haven't been watching their videos. So I've been going back and watching some of your guys' videos. My HOA is hi, good morning, first of all, Mrs. Queen. Good morning. My HOA is on, it's like white on rice. Really, really white rice. And that's also what we're talking. I'm not going to talk about that, but exactly. That's what becomes an issue. They don't want certain people in the community because you're bringing down the community. It was kind of worn away. Yeah, but like, that's just, and I was going to fix it. Okay, so exactly. So you had a plan to fix the mulch in October. You were going to get around to it. You knew, okay, I'm going to freshen up the place. But to be told you got 10 days. Like, that. Anyways, that's why I can't live in. But at the same time, I have a neighbor who's not maintaining his property. And I don't have an HOA. And I'm glad I don't have an HOA. I don't want that kind of life. But you have to call the city. And when you call the city, they know that they only come for complaints. So he knows somebody complained, but he left me no choice. You were burning fires. If you burn my house down, good morning, badass. I came 100 miles out of the way to fix it. Wow. And I'm here busting my chops, trying to keep my yard looking decent and looking good. And, and to hear people, like, it's just, to me, just is irritating. But I guess, do you guys think it's appropriate as a neighbor to complain on your neighbor? If the problem is been going on, my friend came by last Saturday. She was riding her bike, and sometimes she's like, "Yo, can I pop it?" I'm like, "Yeah, come over." So she was getting some fresh air, riding her bike around. She came over. Good morning, Black Guns. She put her bike in my backyard, locked the gate, and then came. I opened the front door for her. She came inside. We're talking, chilling. I was juicing watermelon and green juice and this, my healthy stuff. And we're talking and catching up. And when she went back to get her bike, I was at the front door waiting for her. She went to the back, got the bike, came back. She's like, "Man, your neighbor's yard is ugh." Like when other people are noticing, because you're so used to seeing it and you're tolerating it that you're like, that's just the way it is. I'm going to put up more lattices so I don't have to see in there. The previous owner had lattices, but they're worn down, so I'm going to change them. But I would get penalized for my lattices. It's worn down and broken. I would get penalized for other things. And then you all know I'm trying to get chickens, and I'm not allowed to have chickens. So am I being hypocritical that I'm breaking a city rule, but I'm complaining? Good morning, Miss Lashes. I'm complaining about somebody else. Is it hypocritical? Yes and no. I talked to my other neighbor. She has no problem with me having chickens, but it's understood. The place has to be neat and tidy, kept clean and no odor. And she ain't got no problem. As long as, I keep it clean, obviously, she and I don't have no problems. The other neighbor I didn't talk to because his yard is chugga. So what's he going to say? But is that hypocritical? Oh, you're hiding and watching? Oh, thank you, Lashes. I hope your retreat's going well. So I did feel a bit hypocritical, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to call and complain on somebody, but you're getting chickens. Yeah, but my intention is not to be a bother to anybody. My intention is to keep the place clean, smelling good, buying whatever products I need to keep the place smelling fresh, in the summertime, if I have to change the bedding frequently, like I've signed up for the full package. And to make sure that I'm not, good morning, G Mama. I said good morning, badass. And I said, okay, I think I got everybody. I don't want to be a burden on my neighbors. So even though I'm breaking the rules, I've consulted them and I'm giving them the utmost consideration. They're going to complain when they hear the chickens. No, well, that's why I already talked to her about it. That's why I've already preempted that and said, listen, I'm getting chickens. And as long as I keep the place clean, she ain't got no problem. And I'm not getting a rooster. But chickens are pretty quiet from what I understand. And I'm trying to find a breed that is not too noisy. But remember, I have a train that passes. So that's going to buffer some of the noise. Hold on a second here. I think I missed. Let me go back because Miss Queen had a comment. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so you went 100 miles to fix it. I'm just going to go see if I missed. You guys are just greeting each other. And thank you all for coming. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. It helps the algorithm. Let me take a sidebar. Let me leave the topic for 1 quick second. Hold on. Where's the comment that I was just looking at with Mrs. Queen? I'm trying to find it on the list. Okay. Let me just move up. Let me little higher because I can't find the comment to remove it. Okay. Oh, there it is. So, sidebar. So, stick a pin in it for a second. I went to bed the other night and I had 430 subscribers. I wake up the next morning, I had 560 subscribers. I'm like, oh, we reached the 500. Yes. But I didn't get an email from YT. So I don't know how this works to say that whatever. I'm at 500. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait. Maybe it's going to level off. When I go to bed last night, me there 482. So I guess they did whatever they had to do and it leveled off. So I'm almost at 500. So for those of you who are not subscribed, please subscribe because I'm just at the cusp of 500. Please and thank you. And hit the thumbs up button. So I don't know what's going on in these streets, but I checked my studio for the first time in weeks. And to see how many subscribers that you've lost and what you have, I should have been probably at 800 by now. But, I don't know if it's robots or bots or spammers or whatever's going on. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed because I'm almost at the 500 mark. Thank you. And if you have other profiles, like some of us have 5 profiles, just sub me under all of your profiles. Okay. Public service announcement. Okay. So let me go back to Mrs. Queen. I did not know you were in HOA, Mrs. Queen. I know maybe you mentioned it, but it didn't sink in that I know Lashes is in one, but I guess Florida, for those of you all in Florida, that's a main thing. I guess they wanted to keep it looking a certain way for the tourists. So Mrs. Queen saying, I like HOA, and then again, I don't. Yes, we ride through the community. It is extremely, extremely beautiful. The bad thing is they can be very picky, but they want to keep the community polished. So yes, I agree with that. Having the place looking nice, but there's a bit of, I don't know who writes these bylaws or who allows it, but somebody needs to get involved into the level of nitpicking the mulch. To me, if your lawn is mowed, you're keeping it watered, that should be okay. Lashes had a problem with her lawn not being enough. There's too many patches in the lawn. But Florida was in a drought. So you want me to water the lawn during a drought? Something has to be balanced is what I'm saying. The rules have to make sense. And it has to be in context of the weather that you're currently experiencing. That's where I came up with the but love mowing. At first, it was aggravating when I realized, but then I realized that this is my home. I like my home looking beautiful. And I realized I loved yard work. Okay, that's where the name came from. And I know you like walking. I've been watching you. It's getting me motivated to. I've been walking again, though. Good morning, Howard J. I've been walking because of GT. But to see other people pushing and walking and getting healthy just encourages me because it's hard sometimes. Let me see what Badass is saying. I thought something was wrong. Did something go wrong? I think you're talking to somebody. Oh, lashes. Yeah, she's away. She's away. Badass. She's on that retreat, that health retreat. I've had it. You know, I guess like almost like a cleanse, like cooking better, eating better, changing your diet and your lifestyle, and you do it in an environment where there's no other distractions and no other temptations. So she took some time away, which is why she was weaning her baby because she was going to be gone and he wouldn't have breast milk. So I know we're going off all over the place. I'm going all over the place. Good morning, Nikki, and blah 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 blah. So Mrs. Queen likes. Oh yeah, I'll get there soon. Yeah, but I ain't too proud to beg. I'm just putting the announcement out there because if you don't ask, you don't get. Right? People think you have it. Hi, Malata Crafts. Just subscribe. Okay, thank you. See, if you don't ask, you don't get. On my whole account. Oh, Sam. Okay, thank you. See, you have to ask and then you'll get. Thank you so much. So as Mrs. Queen said, she likes the beauty of the community. It does make it look nice. So there's nothing wrong with an HOA because even here we have condominium corporations, but some of the bylaws. So for instance, I want to bring up another topic about this. Let me just have a sip. And I'm drinking Grace coconut water. She don't want to show. Yeah. And the one that has no sugar added. Just the coconut water, no sugar. That's what I'm drinking. Why am I advertising them for free? My goodness, I shouldn't do that, eh? Grace, give me a sponsorship now. Good morning, unicorn. Lady. Good morning, just Dorsha. Good to see you, ma'am. What's for breakfast, Miss Dorsha? Always cooking up something good. And then Black Guns and Gardens is telling Lashes he has your package. So let him know. So what's happening here is also this. I don't know how it is in the US. Please let me know. A lot of people here, even myself, I live in a semi-detached house. It's not a standalone house. Me and my neighbor are attached. So you guys would call that a side-by-side duplex. Most people here have semi-detached houses or a townhouse. There are many people who live in detached houses, but obviously that's a different price point. So most people starting out end up in a semi-detached or a townhouse or something that you're connected to other people. So if there's the condominium corporation that my family member lives in does not really have a clear bylaw on smoking, but the landlord has told them no smoking in the house. I don't care what you smoke. This is not about what you smoke because the person happens to be smoking ganja, we call it cannabis. We call it ganja, Mary J. And it's a very pungent odor. And if you don't smoke, you don't want to smell that, especially in your home. You don't mind smelling it like if you're passing by in the street, whatever. The neighbor's smoking, the neighbor's tenant is smoking it in the garage. And it's just in the brick, it's in the concrete, and it's going into the home, it's going into the bedrooms. And it's been talked about, mentioned. The city won't do anything because cannabis is legal. But they're missing the point. There's a law, a bylaw that says no one's allowed to prevent you from enjoying your home. Not exactly that, but that's the gist of it. The enjoyable use of your home. There's only certain places in this world that you can feel comfortable and safe, and that's your home. And if you don't want to smell certain odors, you shouldn't have to smell it. But when you're in an attached house, what your neighbor does affects you. The cigarette smoking affects you. And if you have people in your home who have allergies or respiratory issues, which is the issue that my family member has, it doesn't matter if it's tobacco or cannabis or newspaper. I don't and cannot sit and constantly be smelling these odors. But the law is protecting them, but not protecting the homeowner. And if you're allowed to smoke in your home, there should be some clauses that say, hey, Louis Fernanda Torres Lopez. Oh, your husband? Girl, you got my back. Thank you. Thank you. You're logging in under everybody. Thank you. You should be the homeowners have rights. So this is another problem. So you don't want to complain on your neighbor, but complaints have been made. And my video is frozen, but it'll come back. Complaints have been made, even though you're uncomfortable with making the complaint, because it's affecting your health, it's affecting your life, and it's affecting the quality of your home. People are coming to your home and smelling like, I'm talking someone who smokes weed every hour on the hour. So you must know, and it's not no retail weed. It's not the weed from the retail store. It's like the homegrown, real strong stuff that smell. You could smell it a mile away. You can smell the seeds on the plant that's so rich and pure. Every hour on the hour. He smoke, him common law wife smoke, him mother-in-law smoke. I think the dog smoke and the cat smoke. Everyone just puff, 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 puff. And it's affecting the person. That's not fair either. So HOA and condominium boards do have a place, but your enjoyment should not interfere or infringe on somebody else's. Vision saying, I stopped paying HOA dues because they would not give me an itemized list of what they were paying for. And they took me to court and I won because I requested. You know what? Funny you mentioned that. Somebody is going around to that same family member's condominium units and doing the same thing. Somebody in the condominium, one of the townhomes, took them to court and asked them basically for the statement, the accounting, because a condominium board has to be registered with the government, probably HOAs as well. You have to have a tax number. It's a business. And you have to itemize all the dues that are being collected. We call them maintenance fees here, and how they're being spent. And they are required by law to have a slush fund of so much money to pay for the roofing, the paving, and all the main expenses of the condominium. And from what the man said, because I was there, so a sidebar, what happens is sometimes my family member, if she's alone, she's like, she'll call me. And she called me and I heard a man's voice talking stuff. He sounded a bit aggressive. So I'm like, are you uncomfortable? She's like, like she's saying to the man, but she's saying to me. So I happened to be at like across the street from her, somewhere else with somebody else hanging and talking. And she saw my car. That's why she called me. So I jumped up, put myself in the car, and I came over and just came and sat down while he was talking. Didn't say hello, good evening, nothing, just came and sat down. And then after, she's like, oh, this is my so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. And then his voice kind of toned down a bit because somebody else was there. And I have a screw face. So you don't know screw face. Just set the record straight right there. Don't talk to women like that. Anyways, he was pressuring her to sign something. But upon further conversation, he basically said there's an $80,000 shortfall of unaccounted funds. And there has not been a general meeting called for 10 years. And they don't know where their dues and their money is going. And people haven't paid their maintenance fees because no one's keeping track of who's paying what. So he wants to clean up and get a new board of directors. And the board was sued by the other person who was not paying. And she asked for a statement, the accounting for the last year. And the judge ordered them to show it, and they didn't show it. So that's exactly it. Where is your money going? Okay, so your youngest son. Thank you, Psalms. Thank you. I appreciate it. If I cook breakfast, it would be on Sundays, but now Sunday cooks breakfast on Sunday. So that's a pun, Miss Georgia. Sunday cooks breakfast on Sunday. So obviously you mean Nick cooks breakfast on Sundays. Peekaboo. Yes. Yeah, I cook dinner on Sundays, and Saturday is the big breakfast, Caribbean breakfast. But today I didn't cook nothing. But I have some callaloo, maybe make some fried dumpling. And I do have some ackee in the freezer. I want to finish off eating that. To the lady who has the dry patches, look into it's called hydrotane. It forces the grass to go deeper looking for water. Okay, that's lashes. So lashes, he's saying because she went to Home Depot and got something, but it doesn't last very long and it's a expense to keep buying it. So anybody who has patches in their lawn of missing grass and just he's recommending that might help you. And I told her to keep seeding the lawn every couple of weeks. Just keep seeding. And if I missed somebody saying good morning, excuse me. I just didn't see your name, but I think I greeted everybody. Yes, it's your right to know what's happening, what's being paid for. They're supposed to be transparent in everything that they're doing. And this gentleman was pissed off because he goes, they could have paved the driveways with that $80,000. They could have done some maintenance and repairs. Good morning, Healy Means. I don't think I greeted you, so good morning. So HOAs or condo boards or whatever you want to call them do have their place, but we need to make some requirements of them. They need to be accountable for where the money is going, how it's being spent. They need to have a statement of accounts and release that to the tenants or the homeowners or whoever's living there, however it has to work, and release that information to them. They need to have rules that benefit everybody and are fair and balanced, and they need to stay out of grown folks' business. But are you comfortable complaining on your neighbor if need be? If you complain on your neighbor, are you a Karen? Hey, Queen Shar. If you complain on your neighbor, so am I a Karen that I complain on my neighbor who was burning big fires in the backyard at 2:00 in the morning and could have burned down my house? Obviously, that's not a Karen. So when do you become a Karen and when do you become a concerned, responsible neighbor? You tell me. For instance, I've tolerated a lot. So for instance, the neighbor's garbage stinks, the bin, because they're not washing it out. Are you required to wash out your garbage bin? Is that something that no one has to tell me to wash my bin? We just wash it. We wash it at least 2 to 3 times a year. Good morning, Plant a Garden. We wash it at least 2 to 3 times a year. No one told me that. There's been no memo that's been sent. There's been no conversation. Me and my neighbor just have common sense. You take a little pine salt, take a little bleach, you take an old broom or old long stick something with a sponge on the end, and you just go and you clean the bin. You rinse it out, you clean it again, you put it down to dry upside down, and then you wash it again as you need it. So would that be a Karenism if somebody complained on that? Let me see what he says. Oh, breakfast. He made a chicken breakfast burrito, fried potatoes, shredded chicken, scrambled eggs, pico sour cream, shredded. Is that for one person, badass? Is that for one person? You should be able to talk to your neighbor without being okay. So you believe you should be able. So yes, I did talk to him. This is going back 3 to 5 years. So these are things that have been happening over the last 5. This is not just like this week, over 5 years. So yes, I did mention to him your bin smell kind of frozy. We're Caribbean, so say, oh, your bin smells like garbage. You say your bin smell frozen, man. It smell like rotten meat, rotten food. You have the maggots in there. What's going on over there? How can I smell it from so far, man? Come on, man. Just please, man. I beg you. Make it kind of funny, like, man, I beg you, man. Star, man. The bin smell foul, man. Come on, man. And then they say, okay. Chuck, I don't want to feel shame up. Oh, it's a burrito. Okay. I thought it was a whole bunch of stuff on a platter. Sorry. So I did speak to him. But some people don't want to speak to people. That's a whole other conversation. Maybe they're afraid. Good morning, my green lawn. Maybe they're afraid, they're not approachable, or maybe you just don't like dealing with confrontation. You feel it's confrontation, so you're afraid to deal with it. But I did talk to him, and he is approachable. but I don't know if he is running on all cylinders. I'm not sure. Let me see what Miss Healy is saying. Hold on, it the chat jumped. Where it gone? It's challenging to find new homes in the city suburbs without HOAs. Older homes, those not in subdivisions or communities, or those farther from city centers, are less likely to have them. So, so you guys tell me how it works. Over here, condominium boards and bylaws have been written from way back. You'd have to probably write the board to ask for some kind of amendment or adjustments. So, for instance, my family member who's having problems with smoking, smoking is not written in the bylaws. So, if you're in a townhouse and they're all connected, if you smoke in your home, your neighbors are going to be affected. There's no if, ands, or buts. The attics are all connected, and it's like an open attic. It's not like it's separated and properly done. These are older homes from the 70s. So if you pass the gas in your house, they're probably smelling it next door. That's how connected you are. Why did I say that? Anyways, that's how connected you are. So they have to now go through the process of asking the board to put that in the bylaws. And that would only apply to new homeowners. I don't think they can apply it to those. I don't think you can grandfather those things over to previous homeowners who have bought their home before and have been there for 10, 20 years. So this is a problem. How do we, okay, you make small portions. Okay, it just sounded big. So yeah, that's okay, take care, Vision. Thanks for popping in. Thank you so much. So you can ask for changes to your HOA bylaws, but what's the process? I'm sure that they're not going to make the process easy and straightforward. So, something happened. Okay. Move to the US. Move to the US? No, that could, you know what? I don't think I mind the US. But yeah. I think you guys have more detached homes over there, but there's problems everywhere. Let me see what Shara is saying. But I know, for instance, lawns are a problem. So, for instance, this summer we had a severe drought, and most people with common sense were not watering their lawn. They were not. And I was one of those people. But my lawn has a lot of clover. So, clover always looks green on the bottom. My upper lawn is just some kind of crabgrass or some kind of trashy grass. So, you could tell who was watering their lawn, who was not. It doesn't make sense in a drought when there's a water shortage to water the lawn, but that's not a deal breaker. Hold on. Shar saying, yes, I have. When my neighbors didn't clean after their dog, the school kids walked in the dog's mess. I notified the city. They warned them next time they would be fined. Problem resolved. Okay. So just asking everybody, is that a Karen move or is that okay? Because you want to live peaceably with other people. You don't want to have arguments over foolishness. You don't want to have to have like meetings saying, "Can you clean your dog filth?" Like that's kind of understood. There's city rules for that. If your dog makes a mess, you're supposed to clean it up. So would you talk to somebody about it, or would you just call the city? And if you just call the city, is that a Karen move or is that okay? I'm just asking because we all have different perceptions. Do you think that's a Karen move? I keep to myself and don't have a lot of noise or traffic on around my property. One of my neighbors has an extremely yappy dog, but he's on the HOA board. One of the properties, we had somebody who would let their dog go around unleashed and the dog would filth in our yard. We never have no conversation. I didn't have no meeting. I didn't say, hey, can I have a talk to you? Just to some people you see, you look on their face and you cannot have a conversation with them. Nothing you say is going to They're not going to change it. Their dog's going to go on off leash. So we go buy a big bag of cayenne pepper. No, chili pepper flake. We bought chili pepper flake, cayenne pepper. We bought black pepper. We bought green, so all kind of something. And mixed it all up in a one bowl, one big bowl. And I had to wear a glove and a mask because it was just like in the air. Me pepper. And me pepper the lawn, me pepper. Only our property, not their property, our property. And I peppered that lawn. The whole lawn was full of pepper. Dog not come back. Oh no, the dog not come back. The dog gone and it not coming back. Because I don't know why your dog's coming over here to take big doo-doos. That I have to take a big shovel and shovel them up and put them and dispose of them. Big doo-doo, you know. I bought the pepper, and the pepper got rid of the mouse, the dog, the cat, because the neighbor's cat, same thing, coming over and sleeping on the lawn and under the car, and then they're cussing you off. Oh, you almost ran over my cat. Why is your cat under my lawn? Under my car on my lawn. Like, I don't understand it. Clover produces its own fertilizer. I hated clover, but now I love clover because clover keeps my lawn looking green. So I don't have grass. One of my lawns, because I have a tiered lawn, one of my lawns is not grass. It's just straight up clover. And it looks green all year long. Unicorn Lady, the lawn grows into flower beds at most houses on my block. HOA's answer is to give warnings. They should give suggestions of who can fix. We have to be on our hands and knees pulling weeds. So so I guess you don't have an edging? Is that hands and knees? Who's on hands and knees? If I go on my hands and knees, I can't get back up so easily anymore. So that ain't me not bending down. Sorry. I'm at that age where if I go down, have to take time to come back up. I was definitely too hot. It was definitely too hot for me to even try to water my plants. So but people were watering their lawn and making it green. That shouldn't be allowed. But if they don't call for a water ban to not do that, people are it was ridiculous. My neighbors are not reasonable people. They deny everything. Yes. Do you know that somebody, let me just read the chat and then I'll tell you. And if you guys want to come up, as I said, you guys can come up and talk about these things. Or if you have suggestions on how you dealt with a HOA or dealing with, stuff, you can come up. That was okay to me. If you won't clean up after your pet, don't have one. Exactly. But some people, I have neighbors like that too, Shar. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're not reasonable. And you have to be careful as a woman speaking to it depends who you're speaking to, because if you're speaking to, let's say, a couple and you talk to the woman, and sometimes the woman will tell the story to her husband in a way, and then the next thing you know, you have two people who are against you and malicing you, and it makes your life difficult. So that's why I can understand, like, don't get involved, because me not have nobody to back me up but my cutlets and my cricket bat and my hot sauce. Like, I don't want to have no fights with my neighbors. You don't want to. That's your place. Like, your house is your place of peace. You don't want your neighbors to be at war with you. It's not a good feeling. But if they want war, let's have. Anyway, let's joking. Some people can't be talked to reasonably. Sometimes it's easier to go above their heads and exactly. Okay, so from what you guys are saying, it's not a Karen move, especially if it's an actual issue that needs to be addressed. That didn't work no, that was a different property. I didn't put all that pepper at my property. Because I don't visit that property as often, I just lace it with pepper. To teach them a lesson. But over here, I haven't done that. But I'm going to have to go to the wholesale place. Hey, Gina, and buy a bulk bag of pepper. But the price has gone up, man. Things are expensive. My goodness. Good morning, fam. Same thing. New Saturday out here in these streets. Yep, out at the stores. So for those guys who don't know, #urban to drop your link. Good morning, Darren Banks. New friend here. Thank you. This is okay. Thank you. For those who missed the announcement, I'm begging for some more subs. I'm almost at 500. I was at 500 and something happened. I'm back. It's how it goes. It's up and down, but it's been holding at 482. So that means I just need a few more. So some of you all are subscribing under other names. So I know I'll call you. Okay, so your name is Darren. I'll try to remember that. So I'll call you Darren, not Can't Stop Walking. So I'll call you Darren. So it's not a Karen move from what you guys are saying. You guys want to have your properties, your community looking a certain way. And if your neighbor is not really approachable, you're not going to take that on. You're going to go above them. And not a Karen move. Clean it. Yeah. And for me, burning that big old fire, that wasn't a Karen move because it's just too difficult. So what have you guys tolerated in your good morning, Marlon Newbie, and good morning, So Good Gardner. And if I missed anybody, it's because I didn't see you. So don't hold it against me. Sometimes you miss names in the chat. New neighborhood, no edge. Okay. So no sorry. One second, my throat. No edging. Okay, so do you unicorn lady, I don't know how your lawn is set up or anything like that, but does anybody have a weed whacker? Because I use my weed whacker to do my edging. I have a battery powered one that I purchased. Well, I'm in Canada, so we have Canadian Tire, but I'm sure like Tractor Supply or whatever store you all have has that. I'm gonna blow my nose. Just give me a second. I'm gonna mute my. Okay, thank you. And the brand I bought is called Works, WORX, and it's a battery pack, and the battery works with the leaf blower and the weed whacker. And I believe if you buy anything of certain brands, like if you buy Ryobi or you buy a certain brand, their batteries are interchangeable in all their different devices. If you like electric, my family likes the plug-in ones because it just has more power, and you can do your edging with that. So I don't know if it's worth buying one. Maybe not if you don't have a lot of lawn to keep maintaining. But if somebody like your neighbor, I don't know how you guys work. Sometimes your neighbors work together and say, okay, they have the weed whacker and they just do the weed whacking for both of you and work it like that. But I don't bend down. I use the weed whacker and it does a nice crisp cut finish and keeps the edging, the way you did it. And it lasts, once you weed whack, it lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, if you're having a fast growing lawn. Right now, the lawn is growing fast for me because it's raining a lot. But yeah, I use a weed. And if you ask my green lawn, that's what he does is lawn care. Can somebody else give some tips on how to keep your lawn edged for HOA requirements, or what cheap tools you can buy, or I don't know. Back in the day, my parents had that, like it's like scissors, but it's like the length of a broom, so that you can stand up and you can snip and trim your grass edgings. They don't really. I think they still sell those. That's from like the 70s, but they still have it, and they just get the blade sharpened, and you can just clip the edges like a scissors, but you're standing up. You don't have to bend down. Sometimes these garage sales have some old tools, or people who are elderly who are moving into a home or somewhere like an apartment. They get rid of all their tools and stuff. That may be of use to you because bending down sometimes is not feasible. My knee sometimes bothers me, so that's not really an option. Bougie saying most people know that keeping up their property goes along with the value. Yes, that is definitely true. No word of a lie. But some people, from what I'm seeing, even on my street, you can tell what has a tenant and what has a homeowner. And sometimes it's because you're renting out your property, it gets run down because the tenants aren't doing their job. Sometimes homeowners do not have the time because they bought their home, they bought their first home, and in order to pay for this home, they're working two jobs. And both parties are working two jobs sometimes, or one job and then the man's working two jobs because they didn't account for all the other expenses of having a home, and they did not allocate the time that it takes to maintain the outside of the home. That was I knew I had to do it because my parents had, and I knew. But when you have to do it now, is a different thing. Knowing that you have to do something and doing it and having the energy to do it and having the tools. Right now at my parents' house, they can't mow the lawn. They had some work done on the outside. All the concrete has been done. So all the old stones and patio stones and interlocking brick and all that stuff that they had has been removed, and it's now brand new concrete. When they did the formwork for the concrete, which is a thing that irritates me, but I'm not going to say much. They knew that the shed door would not be opening and closing. Whoever did the formwork would have and should have known that the door cannot swing. Nobody seemed to have noticed it because now, when they're trying to go in now, either myself or my sister trying to go in there to get the lawnmower, you can't get into the shed because the door swings out. Obviously, it would swing out because you're not going to have it swinging into the shed if you want the space to have stuff. So the door would swing out to the patio. Can't get into the shed. So now we open the window, and someone who's nimble gonna have to climb up in the window and take the door off the hinges or something, and we'll have to just lean the door up against it to keep the animals out because animals will move in for the winter, and cut the door or something to get in. So you're talking about somebody who can't mow their lawn because they can't get a lawnmower. At my house, at one point, I didn't even own a lawnmower. When I bought my house, I had to go and beg and borrow a lawnmower until I could get one because didn't budget for a lawnmower. Common sense, but you're so new. I pay someone to mow my lawn, but they don't weed. So they don't weed whack? Come on, man. Maybe that's not nice. They should mow the lawn and do all the edging and tidy up everything and pull the obvious weeds. That's just my weed whacker barely whacks weeds. Least yeah. You know what? I don't know. Mr. Greenlawn can say. I changed my twine. The twine that came with the weed whacker was the thinnest one ever. I had to change the thicker, firmer twine. So, G Mama, that may help you. Also, I know at a store, only one store I've seen it sold at. I have to go make a special trip to this store because it's not like a lot of locations. They sell the metal twine for the weed whackers. And the metal twine, I'm assuming, won't break as quickly. And it's a sharper, it'll give you a very crisp edge, and it can just whip through any tough weed. So I'm gonna try the metal one. Because you do need to have tools. And then I have the tool that you stand up and you press and you twist and it pops out the dandelions and stuff. Yeah, I have my leaf blower. I do want to get, now we're back on lawns, but we should talk about tools because if you are in an HOA, the HOA is really nitpicking on your external view of the property. They want to see that it has the curb appeal. And if you're going to have curb appeal, you need to have yard tools. So I have the stand-up twist, take out the dandelions. I have grass seed. My lawn at the front, I've tried several times. It just won't seed. I'm going to have to just rip it out, put new dirt, and just lay it with seed. I'm going to try to seed it actually this weekend. Now it's cooler so that it can go into the winter months with some new grass so that next spring, when I seed it again, hopefully I can make a dent. But every spring, these squirrels dig up my lawn. Let's see what Healy means is saying. Sadly, I tolerate that yappy dog. I really want another dog myself after not having one for a while. But the neighbor's animal has given me second thoughts. Also, neighborhood fiestas. Well, do what works for you. And maybe if your dog, I know dogs don't like fiestas, partying. Over here, they have firecrackers, everything to have firecracker, then popping firecracker. Yeah, check out My Green Lawn. And again, guys, just type hashtag urban throughout the chat. It will drop your link. Nightbot will drop your link so that you can, advertise and people can connect with you. Yeah, get a dog. I'm thinking about getting a dog. I think Badass said, that would help with the raccoons. And to be honest, it might be good company. I bought that scissors blade. It got warped, bent, so don't work well. Oh, can somebody hammer it out for you? Can somebody hammer it out for you? Somebody fixed my machete. My neighbor gave me the machete, and I had mine. And another guy came that I went to my sister's house. I asked her neighbor. I know him, and he sharpened the blades, both blades. He hammered one of them out to make it more proper. So just sometimes you got to ask. Some people are good at fixing things. Also, laying down bricks, edging around the beds can help. Yeah, it can help keep the weeds from crowding. Exactly. Miss Healy saying mistakenly clicked sent while editing. Oh, sorry. I tolerate the neighbor's yappy dog and the neighbor's fiestas. Oh, loud music, but not part of our HOA. So no one to call except the police. Not worth it. Yeah, sometimes it's not worth it. But if it becomes like somebody was having firecrackers over here, I didn't complain, but I made sure they knew I wasn't impressed because you're affecting me. So number one was the firecrackers, the pieces were flying into my yard. And I was going to my yard and I'm seeing pieces of whatever, the almost like a dynamite stick or something. You're knocking over my plants and actually damaging because it's hitting delicate plants. You're doing the firecrackers. So for instance, it gets dark nowadays at about, let's say 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. So, firecrackers up until 10:30, that should be okay. But starting the firecrackers after 11 in your backyard, it's not like you're at a park where so that pissed me off. No, you're in a backyard and all the screaming and the carrying on and just disturbing people from a peaceful evening. No. Yeah, and when my parents removed the interlocking stone from the backyard and was piled up on the lawn, and the guy was going to put it in the dumpster to dump it, some people came and like, oh, are you throwing that out? We're like, yeah. One lady came and with her husband and took a whole bunch of bricks, exactly, to go around her trees, to go around and to buy one interlocking stone is what, $3-4? So, I bought some edging from Sam's, but it's too hot here in Texas. Yeah, of course. Wait till it's cooler. I'm already in the cool. I'm in Toronto, so I'm already in the cool. But yeah, don't be in the hot sun. You must have been mad. That's too much. Unicorn Lady's nice. We have a huge pile of free mulch that we need to take care of, but we're waiting for cooler. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just find the solutions. Let's not complain about the HOAs. We know. But first and foremost, you need to read the rules. Yapping dog during the week, yes, on Saturday. At least I have peace on Sundays. Well, we have to know the rules. So, for instance, Ms. Healy's having a problem with every Saturday having a fiesta. I guess he has a lot of friends. I don't know. Oh, yeah, thanks for reminding us, Lashes. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Some of you subscribe to 3 channels. Thank you so much. I missed some of the chat. Something is it jumped. Okay. I could really use a small chainsaw to keep the wood back. You know what I noticed the other day too? A limb fell in the back of my yard where I have the compost bin and the grapes. There was a limb that fell down during a storm last summer. I'm like, okay, it's a limb. I'll deal with it. When I went back this week or maybe yesterday to look, I went to dump I have my trash from my juicer in the compost bag, and I dumped the whole bag over there, in the compost. I realized there's a tree leaning on the back fence. So a tree from the property behind, which is belongs to the train company, is leaning, not just a small limb. I'm like, shoot, um, that's going to be a problem. And that was concerning because there was a tree back there that was dead on my neighbor's side. And I'm saying, so I emailed them years ago and complained about it. Nothing was done. Last summer, I saw this heavy machinery, like almost like a cartoon, with these grabbers grabbing whole trees and ripping them out the ground. So they had the whole back. They ripped off all the heavy trees and the big trees because they are going to die. Some of them are rotting and they're going to fall over, and they're going to fall not towards the train, towards the houses, but they probably figure, you know what? If it falls on the train track, it's going to cause them a problem as well. So they cleaned up some of the debris. So I think when they ripped out some of the trees, maybe some of the other trees became unstable. And then during some heavy windstorms, so I'm going to have to get a chainsaw as well, or I can complain to them, but yeah, right. Here we have to pay separate services, one to mow and one. What? Nah, man, that's a foolishness. Sorry. Yard lawn care is lawn care. How do you have to pay for weeding separate from mowing the lawn? Nah, man. These people want to make money. But I guess you're just telling me your situation. I'm just cussing in general about how ridiculous that sounds. So don't take it personally. I bought garden yard tools at 75% off at a local discount grocery store. Good. And exactly right now, well, in my climate, maybe yours, summer is ending. So all those tools for summer, lawn care, mowing are on sale. So if you want to get a lawnmower, a weed whacker, a leaf blower, the leaf blower slash vacuum slash leaf mulcher, the 3-in-1, may be on sale, but the leaf mulcher probably not, because you don't know that's coming into season now. The snips and the shears and the little axes and the cutlass and all the different stuff. Get whatever you're going to use to make your life easier, because all this bending and stuff is not easy. Your dog? No, your dog is too big for me. Mm-mm. Your dog would take me for a walk. It would be dragging me down the street. I need a small little frou-frou dog that can fight, but I can, give him a good lick down if he gets feisty with me, pick him up and put him in his pen. That dog would just take me for a walk. But yeah, HOAs are difficult to deal with, but you have to be ahead of the game. So Darren was saying, Can't Stop Walking, was saying exactly, he had it in his mind. He has a schedule of when he does certain things so that he can maintain his property. But they caught him, I guess, earlier than he thought, and they want it done in 10 days. So you have to know the rules and just work ahead and plan your schedule. Oh, Oreo. You know what, Mama? It's only recently I realized he had a rabbit. I must have went to some older videos and I realized, because I know somebody has a rabbit. Her name escapes me. Oh, Tasha Oshigro. She have a rabbit. I did not know you had a rabbit. And somebody else has a rabbit named Oreo too. That's funny. I have a lawn care addiction. I have about 50 to 20 grand worth of equipment. Oh my God, that's a lot of equipment. But then again, when you buy good quality stuff, you don't have to keep rebuying it. You buy it once and it lasts you for years. So although I'm the first to complain about, oh my God, it's so expensive, when you buy good stuff, it lasts you for years. So get your schedule together. For instance, I know I need to start putting some grass seed down now. G Mama, I bought a small chainsaw for the small tree branches in my yard. Works great. Not sure I need or could handle a full size one. Exactly. You don't want, it is scary to use certain tools. So you be very careful. Hey, hands in the dirt. I see you there. My husband just purchased a Milwaukee small handheld chainsaw. It works great. And ladies and gentlemen, maybe more ladies, get comfortable with using it. If you don't feel comfortable with using a chainsaw and somebody can help you and show you how to use it, don't be afraid to ask, just to make sure you know how you hold it, your stance when you're doing it. when you're chopping wood, like, just to be comfortable with it and be careful. And if you have any problems, is it an auto shut off? Is there a safety valve? Just um, make sure that you're comfortable using it, because it is uncomfortable. It is very scary. Like I'm telling you, I have to do things by myself, and it is very scary. But ask someone to show you, and so that you can feel comfortable using it by yourself. If you're in the North Georgia area, hit me up. I charge a 6-pack. I clean it. Okay, guys, if you're in the North Georgia area, he will help you with your yard work for a 6-pack, and he'll clean up your yard. But I would say a 6-pack and gas money. Give him his gas money, a little extra tip for fill him tank. So his time is not being abused. So give him a gas money and a 6-pack. Because sometimes, funny, you're laughing, but sometimes, we really do need some help. We really need some help. Some of us just feel overwhelmed. We don't know where to start with our yard. We're getting harassed by the HOA or the condo corporation. People are looking at the yard like, oh, you're the one bringing the neighborhood down. Oh, you're snitching. And, just sometimes you need a bit of help. So if you're able to, people on the live, you can't help me because you're not even living here, but helping somebody in your neighborhood, they just need a little bit of help, or they need to use the equipment. They don't have equipment and you don't mind loaning them your equipment, or if it's expensive to say, you know what, I'll just do it for you because, you don't want people to break your equipment. Help somebody out. It's very difficult for people who really don't know how to maintain their lawn, and they're under a lot of stress with these HOAs. Curing and be very dangerous at times. Just be careful when cut. Yeah, don't cut down. I'm not cutting down no tree. The tree is leaning on the fence. Look, I'm blocking myself. The tree is leaning on the fence. I'm going to cut the part that's from the fence into my yard and let it fall. And then the rest, I'm going to have to ask someone to come and help me, because the city, not even the city, the train company is not going to come and deal with that tree. And who feels it knows it. By the time they come and deal with the tree, I'm going to have significant damage. And at the back is where I have my raised beds that I built the boxes for and everything to grow food. So I need to make sure it's safe. Yeah, cutting down tree. I think you put, yeah, it's okay. I got what you meant. This autocorrect does some foolishness sometimes. So back to, for those of you who live in HOAs and condos, the one thing I can say, because I got called on with the rental property, well, the city came and put a citation. Don't leave things and let things get into a state where your neighbor's going to have to call on you. We have to have enough sense to know, okay, the lawn's supposed to be a certain height. You need to know the rules. That's the long and short of it is. You need to know the rules. You need to make sure that you know the rules. And that's my responsibility, because the property is in a certain city and I need to make sure I know the rules. And it should never get to the point where your neighbor has to call and complain. I keep my lawn, even if sometimes you're tired, you don't have the strength. Keep your lawn mowed, keep your edges trimmed, keep the front looking good. The back, you can probably get away with the backyard a bit more because the neighbor would have to really call if it's really bad. So if you cannot maintain both front and back, sometimes I just do the front. I put the lawnmower in the garage because the lawnmower is kept at the back. I bring it to the front. My lawnmower's at the top. I got to bring it down the stairs, down to the front. Sometimes I mow the front. I put the lawnmower in the garage. I take a break and I go back and move it to the back, the lower level back. If I'm tired, it'll stay in the garage all night, and the next day I'll do it. You have to just pace yourself because it's sometimes not easy. When I was recovering from the Corunda, the C19, oh my God. I didn't have the strength. You're talking to someone who's been mowing their lawn for years and pushing it up the stairs and struggling. But when I was recovering, I didn't have the strength for no pushing the lawnmower, honestly. And some people are elderly and had to recover from that. And so I know how I couldn't do it. And even the other day, people are wondering, how do you mow the top of your lawn? You bring the lawnmower down, you mow the bottom, you mow the front, and then you carry the lawnmower back up the stairs. I don't know how I do it, but I do it because there's no other option. I have to do it. I weed whack. I have my cutlass. I'm chopping. I try to pull the weeds. My backyard to me is not suitable. You guys can see the weeds out the patio stones. There's weeds upon weeds. I can't bend down and pick them up. I tried and my hands actually cramped up because you're pulling and yanking for like an hour straight. I need to get one of those fire torches and just burn the weeds. That's what I'm gonna invest in that torch and just burn them because you cannot keep up and it can be very overwhelming. But that can't be an excuse. There are rules and regulations, and people are not always as accommodating as you would like them to be. I think somebody said something. Okay, so the elderly, he'll do it for free. And yeah, elderly need help. And some people like to stay in their home and age in their home, but they can't. Like, so my neighbor that doesn't mind the chickens neighbor, she's elderly and they've been mowing their lawn since I've been here. And this last year, they can't do it. They don't have the strength. So the son of another neighbor further down is mowing their lawn for so much per mow. So he comes every 2 weeks to mow the lawn. And it's a reasonable price because the people then that were going to do it, we're charging them an arm and a plant. Exactly. But be careful. We don't want, yeah, we don't want to be compost. I don't want to be compost. No, no, no. I own a lawn care service for several years. I charge according to the service provided with me mowing your lawn. Didn't include hedges. Different charge for that. So hedges, I know hedges is like the bush, but did you at that time include edging the lawn though? So you mowed the lawn. Did you edge the lawn? Was that included in the price? And edging the flower bed like to keep the lawn crisp. The hedges are bushes. My goodness, that is now you know why people they don't want to pay because it costs. I'm pretty sure it costs money, and they didn't budget for that, and we need to budget for that. It's part and parcel of owning a property, and some people didn't account for that. So that's probably why grass is different from shrubs and edges. Okay. But I guess it depends on how many hedges they had and how much stuff they had on their lawn. Um, but I'm sure you gave the elderly people a deal, right? Hands in the dirt, you gave senior citizens a senior discount and you had some kind of a tier to kind of help people. I'm not sure. I'm assuming maybe you didn't, but you can let us know. I pace myself so good. I'm not sure if my son remembers how to cut the. You pace yourself. You have a son, girl. You better get. If I had a son, I would not be mowing nothing. Let me tell you that. But that ship has sailed. So, anyways, so good gardener saying lawns have to be 4 inches or lower in my neighborhood. I think that's the same here. And I think the weeds were like 3 feet. That's why the neighbor called. Haha. With edges trimmed and hold on. Sorry. You have to trim your edges. That's part of the rules. And no weeds in the flower beds. No dead plants or trees. Trash cans can't be in sight. No stains on the sidewalk. But I don't own the sidewalk. That's city property. What? Let me remove that from this. That's giving me anxiety. Let me remove that comment. That's giving me anxiety. Oh my god. So mowing the lawn is not enough. You have to edge. Like edging to me is optional. It's just to me being extra to be like to make my lawn look like like crisp, like a nice fade for you guys with like a nice fade and a crisp, whatever you call it, hairline. That's optional. I did not know that you are required to do that in your no man. Okay, edging is included in the cut, the lawn cut. That's only a few of the. So you see, back to the point. You guys need to know your regs. You need to know your regs, because for me, just thinking of my own self, mowing the lawn, that's required. Watering the lawn, you know, a few weeds here and there, eh, as long as it looks presentable, but no weeds and no weeds in the flower bed. So then I wouldn't have a flower bed. But then again, it's probably included, and you have to maintain the current how it currently is laid out. You lost me with the measuring. No, it has to be 4 inches, G Mama, or less, because I think anything more than that attracts. But yeah, the elders pay good at the old folks' home. That's where I make my. Listen here, Bat. You told me about your. You're stealing candy from a baby. That's you're wicked. You're wicked. You wicked. I've been shoveling snow and cutting grass since a teen. I appreciate being. Yeah, no, I appreciate it too. I thank God for it. But if somebody's there that can help and take a bit of the load off, that's good too. You deserve it, right? You paid your dues. The grass cannot grow into the cracks of the sidewalk, so edging is required. So this is why you may hear a lot of people saying they don't want to own homes, because they don't want the responsibility. They like it when they can just pay their rent and somebody else is responsible for that. And that is very stressful for people who have never had their own home, who don't understand the responsibility. They want to get into home ownership and they're so happy to get into their home, and then they go move in and they have their place looking nice, and then they get their first citation. Oh, you can't see your garbage bin. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. And it's like you feel like you're in bondage. You do. You really feel like you're living in bondage. And that's not a nice feeling to be in. It can be very stressful and oppressive, but you have to change your mindset. Read the rules of the HOA. And as Vision had said earlier, you have a right to know how the money is being spent. You make sure you go to those board meetings and those general meetings. You make sure when they have elections and they're voting people, even if your vote is not going to make an impact, you go and you learn the process. You learn the how things work. You understand the nuances and the fine print of how these things work. Because there's going to be a time, as night follows day, that all that you've learned is going to benefit you in either addressing them, holding them accountable, or just screwing them over. Screwing them over. When you can say, nope, it doesn't say that. Regulation 8.5, subsection 2, page 95 of the 5,000 page document says that I am not required to do X, Y, and Z, and then blah, blah, blah. And when you know and can quote and reference and have it, they're like, oh, you know the bylaw. Yeah. Reading is fundamental. So learn the rules so you can follow them and adhere to them and stay off of people's radar, but you can also hold them accountable for but yeah, just don't move into an HOA. Hold on, I think I miss okay, so Nikki was saying, once my husband taught our son to cut the grass. He hasn't cut it since. He is so happy he doesn't have to do that job anymore. Yes, edging, it looks so nice when your lawn's edged. When I got that weed whacker and I'm like, damn. You just don't have to. Yeah, you should not move into an H if you can avoid it. But it seems like everything is moving towards. Over here we have condo corporations, we have freehold. There's some form or fashion where there's some kind of regulation. I'm telling you the truth. It was like, oh my goodness, yeah. So even if there's no HOA, because we don't want to dwell on the HOA too much. I don't live in an HOA. Too much rules. But there's a opposites. People who don't live in HOAs now live and think they can do whatever they want, however they want, which means sometimes cluttering up the yard with old cars. We've all seen in the country, they have cars that haven't worked in 5 years and the car is just sitting there parked. whenever they do a construction job, all the old stones and the slabs just kind of thrown somewhere and just stuff like that. So you don't want to live in an HOA. Fine. Yeah, HOAs are everywhere. You want to live in a non-HOA place. But what is your threshold? What is your tolerance? If your neighbor has old stuff piled up, and no shed just out there, is that a problem? The eyesore is, what are you going to tolerate? And what would you do in your property? Are you going to be that neighbor that gets around to things when you feel like it and when you can? Or are you going to keep your yard as if you're in an HOA? You're going to be that, get the grass out of your grass. Yeah. Are you going to let grass grow in your crack when you have your own property with no HOA? Or are you going to continue to be that neat and tidy person? That's funny. You know what I'm saying? So I'm that person. I do try to keep the place looking good. My driveway has some cracks and has some grass growing through it, and I've never dealt with it. And I think this year I'm going to have to address it because it's just going to ruin the drive. Well, the driveway's already ruined. There's some stuff that needs to be, hey, Smoke City, to be addressed. So I'm going to have to spend some money, time ripping out the grass, maybe burning it or putting something on it and getting that crack filler for the asphalt and getting things addressed. Part of winter preparation. I'm going to have to put grass, like, are you going to be that neighbor? Or are you going to say, oh, I can do what I want. I don't have no HOA. I can, because that's why. Good morning, FR Humphrey. I don't think I saw you. That's the problem. HOAs are becoming popular and are being implemented in new bills. And because people who don't have HOAs are giving everybody a bad rap. They're not maintaining their properties. There's not that curb appeal. There's not that, pride. And maybe they don't have the energy or the strength or the tools. Some cities will fine you if you have a yard junkie. Yeah. But when do they fine you? When somebody complains and they come and inspect? I don't live in an HOA. I live in an established neighborhood. Most of my neighbors are retired. So, I know you don't have a fence in your backyard, hands in the dirt. Is your whole neighborhood, like, is your whole block that way where everyone's backyard is just like there's no fence? And suppose, do your neighbors have dogs? Just asking, because do the dogs run in other people's yards, or is that like they keep their dog on a leash? Like, how would that work? If you're in a community, there's no HOA, everyone's responsible for their own yard. Somebody complained about a dog taking a crap on their lawn. Dog took a crap on my front lawn. I didn't see it, but I saw a big old something. And nobody saw, so I couldn't even address the person. But I made sure that I was out at the front more often than I used to be to see and watch until I get a camera, because I don't see how you're comfortable. Just, I'll leave it there. I don't care. I care because that's my home. It may not be appealing to you, let's say, or someone says, but that's my home, and you should respect that. I don't have my dog crapping on your lawn, so I certainly don't expect you to have your dog crapping on my lawn. But this is what people do. Even that, we talked about that earlier. So I'm just wondering, because you don't have any fencing in your backyard. So if people have dogs and cats, how is that handled? If it's a problem at all, maybe they don't have dogs and cats. Hey, my tiny garden, good morning. And for those of you new coming in, you don't know, you can type in, if you have a channel, you can type in #urban. It will drop your link. Please make sure to thumbs up the video if you haven't done so already. Please like and subscribe. Also on my banner across, you can see my, and in the Nightbot, my Instagram is being dropped. If you're on Instagram, follow me there as well. I do post more pictures on there, obviously, because I don't have a page yet on YouTube, but Instagram is just so easy to use. So check me out on Instagram. I am on TikTok, not as often, but the same content that's going to be on Instagram will be on TikTok. So if you're on both, follow me on both. Urban Garden Chronicles, the same logo, the cabbage you'll see, and also the Buy Me a Coffee. If you're so inclined, you can support the channel if you'd like as well. But good to see all you new people here. Appreciate you guys coming through on a Saturday morning. I usually go live on a Saturday morning, just once a week. Sometimes I do a pop-up, but not lately. Maybe now that my gardening season is coming to an end, you'll see more pop-ups about other things. Let me see what I missed. No, Nikki, I thought I was bad. You're like Dennis the Menace. Yeah, Nikki's a ish disturber. She'll stir it up and run away and leave and act like it wasn't her. Let me see here. Okay, so Hans is saying some of my neighbors have fences, dog pools, and so forth. No one's dogs runs free. Okay, so that's not an issue over there. Put a sign in the yard, clean your ish up. And also, I was going to put a sign saying no trespassing because I see what's going on. I also want to just quickly touch on, I think Hans had mentioned it, and I saw it in a few people's lives because it just came up about having to register your garden. Was that on? And I know I was cussing. I think it was Planter as well, right? Was it Planter too? Because I was cussing in there too, but I ain't registering nothing. But stuff is going on. So again, another control mechanism like an HOA, like this governing body. Same thing. People are trying to control what you do and how you do it, and maybe how it looks and how it's, it has to be perfectly even and square. And I don't know what their intention is, but registering your garden. But I believe from what the fine print was saying, and I didn't read the document, so don't come for me with don't come for me. Let me just pull it up on my phone real quick. Don't come for me, but a few people. My goodness, sorry, my throat. Jeez, maybe I should have boiled the kettle this morning and had that tea. And I saw on a few people's channels, and just bear with me a second here. I'm going to say, do USA residents have to register a garden? Because I'm not sure if it's for only community gardens. Okay, so this is what popped up. USDA opens People's Garden Initiative to gardens nationwide. So let me click on that link and see what it says. So I guess that's the U.S. Drug Administration. I'm assuming. I try to be as neat and tidy as possible when you're working a full-time job, YouTube second job, and you have so many other responsibilities. Yeah, exactly. It's not easy. It's by no means is it easy, but in the country nobody cares. Yeah, I believe that people don't care in the country. It's the urban and suburban areas where people are too I guess we call it uppity and too up in everyone's business. Okay, so I'm going to read this verbatim. I'm going to quote my reference, and I'm on the nrcs.usda government website, and the article is called "The USDA Opens People's Garden Initiative to Gardens Nationwide." So I think this is where everyone was getting this registering your garden thing. But let me read what it says. And obviously, Department of Agriculture. Okay, thank you. And obviously, this could go into other things and be used in other ways if you're a conspiracy theorist. But let's just read the article if you don't mind listening to it for a minute. So the USDA, I'm just going to say the US, I'm not going to say the whole name. USDA is expanding its People's Garden Initiative to include eligible gardens nationwide. School gardens, community gardens, urban farms, and small-scale agricultural projects in rural, suburban, and urban areas can be recognized as a quote-unquote people's garden. if they register on the USDA website and meet criteria, including benefiting the community. So it seems to be a specific program. Working collaboratively, incorporating conservative practices, and educating the public. Affiliate People's Garden locations will be indicated on a map on the USDA website, featured in USDA communications, and provided a People's Garden sign. We welcome gardens nationwide to join in the People's Garden effort and all it represents, said Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack. Local gardens across the country share USDA's goal of building more diversified and resilient local food systems, empowering communities to come together around expanding access to healthy food, addressing climate change, and advancing equity. About the garden, I'm going to skim through. I don't want to belabor the point. We can discuss it. Yeah, I smell something fishy as well, but from what it says here, it's community gardens, school gardens. Let me go back to the top. So it's school gardens, community gardens, urban farms, and small scale agriculture projects in rural and suburban. So maybe like they're doing a special project to teach people about gardening. A special not just like a random backyard gardener. It's a program. So I'm going to skip down. So the USDA originally launched the People's Garden in 2009. It's named for the People's Department, former President Abraham Lincoln's nickname for USDA. Blah 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 blah. I'm going to skip. So Secretary Vilsack added, we encourage existing gardens and new gardens to join the movement. Growing local food benefits local communities in so many ways, and we offer technical resources to help. Also, it's a great way to connect with your local USDA team members. And then it says to be eligible, and it has some bullet points. So you have to benefit the community by providing food, green space, wildlife, and habitat, blah, blah, blah. There's some more points, but I'm kind of skipping through. Are a collaborative effort, so that can include working with other agencies, food banks, after-school programs, Girl Scouts, master gardeners, etc. Incorporating conservation management practices, such as native plant species, rain barrels, such alike. Educate the public. So from what it says here, it's not your backyard garden, your personal garden. It seems to be a project that people are doing. So your community garden, your not-for-profit. So somebody here I know, which I'm going to try to interview her before the season is out. Even if it's out, I could interview her. She has a not-for-profit here in an area in Toronto we call Rexdale, in Tandridge area. It's a lower income neighborhood. People are on the system. Some of these areas are considered high crime. And there was a piece of land in between the complexes that was a dumping ground. And she has, who's leaving? Okay, take your hands in the dirt. And they're using it for dumping ground. She has now got permission from the city. She's working with the police department, fire department, local churches now. This is now, it started from the bottom. Now this is where she's gotten to. And they're growing a community garden. So what she's doing would fall under this category. And it's registered. She does have I think it's a charity, a registered charity, and she gets in-kind stuff to help grow food, to feed the community and teach people how to grow their own food in their own backyards by teaching them in the community garden. Because more likely than not, people will start to grow more food in their own backyard. So this is what it sounds like to me. So I don't think you all have to be concerned about registering your garden. Yeah, gardening programs, and especially programs that may be seeking government funding. So do I believe that something's fishy in the pike? Maybe. But as it stands right now, National Resort. Okay, thank you for the definitions. because I don't. My mods are not all here; they're in and out. But I wonder how soon they'll start mandating regulations on the garden. Yeah, but those are community gardens, so you don't have to be concerned. And I don't think they can really have their nose in everybody's garden. Like if you just think of your state alone, there's a lot of people who garden. Does the government have time to really know what you're doing in your garden? And don't they see that in the satellite images and the drones and stuff? Like, can't they see that anyways? They're seeing that anyways. So I don't think you need to register your garden, but I think this is more for community programs that are probably going to get funding, subsidies from the government, special permissions, just stuff like that. I know my company currently, they have a beehives on the roof of our head office, and they are trying to be more involved with climate change and helping the bees and just being more environmentally conscious. So they've used their roof now to house several beehives, and there's a beekeeper that is working and takes care of that. Sounds like community gardens where public is allowed to. Yes, our local kindergarten has a community. Exactly. So I don't think you need to be concerned. It has nothing to do with your garden in your backyard or your balcony or your hydroponics. That's not what this is about. But that being said, your HOA may affect how and the way you garden in your own property. It all depends on your HOA, what you can grow, and everybody's different. I'm in a different country, as you know, so it all depends. So just do your research and find out how it works, how your HOA works. But I don't know how much power they have over your backyard, but that's about it. But I'm gonna wrap it up because I have to get my fall prepping on and my stuff going. But I thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation today about what we discussed. And no, if you report your neighbor, you're not a Karen. Some people are not approachable, and it's not really wise or safe to discuss it. But we do need to keep our communities looking presentable and our community safe. And part of safety is, I would say, keeping your eye on what's happening around you. And if needed, you have to call the city officials, fire department, whatever the issue specifically is. But this is part and parcel of owning a home. Let me see here what FR is saying before we go. I would like to grow starts to donate to the kindergarten. Yes, and me too. I think I want to do some starts to donate to this lady's garden. Mama's Garden is called. I'm gonna see if I can donate some starts because I do have you guys saw my growing station on my shorts. I can certainly give them a tray of food. But and badass, I thought you were coming up today, maybe next week. So situational awareness, yes. We were talking about that, but we're gonna keep talking about that. Keep prepping, guys. Winter is coming. For those of you who are not prepared, make sure you have your extra water, extra food. You have your candles, matches, just basic stuff. I'm not going to go through the list because we're closing up, but just watch other people's lives and take the recommendations and start to build your prepping a little bit every week. Vision Preparedness. You can check him out. He has mini prep Fridays where he gives you mini ideas of what you can prep for a reasonable price, and most things you can get from a dollar store. So please, yeah, they can't monitor all of us. There's too many. But that being said, yeah, I've been reported to FR. I've been reported. So we got to know the rules and basically so we can adhere to them and stay off of people's radar so we don't have to fight with nobody. And nobody got time to watch your garden, Nikki. But that being said, learn to be discreet with your gardening. Don't have certain things just out. All your extra water conservation, all your rain barrels. Don't have bright blue buckets as rain barrels. Have something that's more like brown and can hide in the landscape. Be conscientious. Make things look presentable. Yeah, September is National Preparedness Month. But on my channel, it's going to be up until maybe end of November because I can't get it all done in September. So you're going to see me talking about September stuff in November. So get your extra water for those who haven't started. Water purification tablets at least, because I got mine. Your bleach tablets and your candles. If you are able and you need, like me in a cold climate, a kerosene. Hey, Hudson, I didn't see you, but we're closing off. Get your kerosene heater if you're in a cold climate. If you have a fireplace, that's great, but get some kind of heating that does not rely on plugging it into the wall. Get your kerosene, get your heater, get your barbecue, charcoal, whatever you need. If you need to be boiling water and cooking outside in the snow, that you're able to do it. Get your matches and start off with that. And then each week I'll mention things that I've been learning from other people's channels and what I got. Prepping, yes, that's the it. Prepping is a lifestyle. For those of you who have your homes, time to change your furnace filters. May check your ducts and your vents, vacuum out all the debris, because when winter comes, you got to keep the windows closed. All that affects your air quality and affects your immune system. All that dust, debris, particles. So, again, I'm ending. It takes me like 10 minutes to end because I keep talking. Get those things prepared. Get your tools, your gardening tools. Oh, Katie, not a Karen. Get your gardening tools, guys, cleaned up and put them away. So that way in the spring, they're already clean. You don't have to be out, So if you got time now, get the blades sharpened, clean off the rust, polish whatever, and put them away in your shed so that it's already done. So that the spring is easier. Your hose, like just stuff, guys. So have a good week. You guys will see me in these YouTube streets. You'll see me. Wednesday is Wind Down Wednesday at Hands in the Dirt channel. Saturday is going to be the chat, I believe, with Nikki and Hands in the Dirt. Well, everyday life of an OCD-ish chick and Hands in the Dirt. And I think it's going to be on OCD-ish chick's channel. No. It's on Hands in the Dirt's channel this week, because last week we were on Nikki's channel, I believe. I can't remember. Nikki, which one is it, Nikki? I'm lost. Is it on Hands in the Dirt this week, or is it on your channel this week? Before we close out, if you're still here, got prepared, done, and we'll continue. Yes, exactly. I can't remember. It's on someone's channel, either Hands in the Dirt or Nikki, but Saturday. You will see me on tomorrow night. I will probably, if for My Fly Family is going live, you'll see me there. Sunday, I've actually copied Bougie Prepper, and Sunday I'm taking as a day off of social media. Not the whole day. Like I'll go on My Fly Family at 7 p.m., but the day you're not going to see me in the YT streets, and I think it's healthy. Just take a day off, so you won't see me on Sundays, and Monday you'll see me throughout the streets. But support Wednesday night, support Thursday night. Sorry, I forgot. You see, so Thursday night is a busy night. You got my Vision Preparedness going live. You got Starduster going live with Bougie. You have Planter Garden going live on Thursday. Every night, Monday to Friday, almost, is Tori's Brain Games. You'll definitely see me there. Thursday, who else is live? Other people are live. I can't remember. But there's a lot going on. Tuesday morning. Sorry, not a lie. Yeah, Tuesday morning for me, or noon, is African Dreaming Trill Tuesdays. Also at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Triple Threat Firearms and Defense goes live. So support her channel. While you're still in bed, Nikki, support her channel as well. So you'll see me on these channels. Lashes Journey is on GT. Good morning. Lashes Journey is on a retreat, a health retreat. She's still here in these streets, but you'll see her back on the 28th, I believe. So she's just taking a little break for herself. I don't know what that is. BTH birthday on Friday. Who's BTH? Um, Black's Tropical. Okay. Is it Friday? That we mean Black Tropical? Well, oh, her anniversary, her 1 year anniversary for her. Well, I'm on her live every Friday. So yeah, Black's Tropical. And again, what we were talking about today, I was going to talk about it from before. It just so happens that Black's has a similar situation. So it's not really about them per se. Yeah, I got you. Black's Tropical. Hold on a second here. GT. No. GT is 4 hours or 5 hours behind me. So if I'm starting at 8:30, he's like that's night hours for him. So yeah, GT most likely will never be here because of the time. But if you're in the afternoon, he'll be here. So yeah, I'm ending GT. I'm sorry, but you can watch the replay. I think you'll enjoy the conversation. Yeah, it's over. You can enjoy the conversation because a lot of stuff is going on, if you don't mind. And GT was live last night. I don't know when he's going live again, but GT, if you can type in #urban, your link will be dropped. So can you please drop it so people can connect with you if they haven't connected already? He's in Alaska, as his name says. So he has a shorter growing season. There's a lot of hydroponics. He is he goes live. He does last night he was doing a demo on what you call it? Not grafting. It was like cuttings. He had some plant cuttings that he's gonna root. Don't snitch. Who's a snitch? Fig cuttings, yeah. He was doing fig cuttings, but he was doing hormone powder on it to get them to root. So rooting tree cuttings. I was calling it grafting, but it's kind of grafting. So yeah, type in #urban to drop your link. Everybody get connected with everybody. I'm again going to announce I'm almost at 500. So if you're not connected, please connect with me fully by subbing. I think most people are, I see a lot of people in my stats watching my content, but they're not subscribed. So can you please subscribe? If you have your children's accounts, subscribe to me under their accounts as well, like somebody did today, Psalms 146. Thank you. To help a sister out. Because I don't know why I keep getting subs and then it keeps like it's up and down, up and down. So I don't know if that's part of the process, but if you can help me at least get to the 5 and stick there, then I can get the community tab and I can start, posting things that I post on Instagram on the YouTube community page. I can share out my videos. I can share out other people's videos, other people's lives. Like you're helping me by mentioning me, I can return the favor as well for smaller channels like myself. So if y'all can get me to the 500, thank you. Ain't too proud to beg. We got to ask so we can receive. Good morning, Learning to Grow. I'm winding it down for the last 10 minutes, but I'm winding it down. I'm going to end. We were talking about, if you guys missed it, please watch the replay. We were talking about, do snitches get stitches? I had a situation where I had to complain about a neighbor to the city and also, well, somebody else called the city and the fire department regarding, burning fire. I was just talking to you all about that, how you deal with it. Do you feel, if I was asking, is that, Karen being a Karen, if you're doing that, but there are things that you have to address when you have a property and you and your neighbor are connected. You're only as good as your neighbor. If your neighbor's not keeping their yard properly, it's going to affect you. If they're not mowing their lawn and pulling their weeds, the seeds are going to fly over to your side. So we're just discussing that. We discussed the garden, the USDA. People are concerned that they're going to want you to register your garden, but that only seems to be for community gardens and not your personal garden. So community projects and initiatives, gardens at schools, non-for-profit kind of things where they have they grow things for the community and teach people how to grow food. It's more to that. It's nothing to do with your personal garden. and just encourage you guys. We'll see you guys next Saturday, God willing. Always, if God, spares my life, I'll be here. You'll see me in these streets, and I am making a stronger effort to get some of my videos that I have in the queue edited and put up. So please keep your eyes open for a video, and I appreciate your support with watching them and commenting them and giving a thumbs up, so I can get you. You guys want more content, and that's fair. You enjoy the lives, but you guys do want to see what's happening over here. And yeah, don't name your daughter Karen. Don't don't name your daughter Karen. So thank you all for coming. I appreciate. I see a lot of new faces. Just again, Unicorn Tech. She's fairly not new, but fairly new. Learning to Grow My Own is fairly new. Miss Healy was fairly new. My Tiny Garden is new. Um, just appreciate you guys coming through and supporting So Good Gardener, fairly new. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for popping in and spending some time with me and commenting and engaging in the conversation. That's what makes it better. Thank you for my OGs who've been here from when I put my first thing up. Appreciate you all, and we're all stick together. Let's keep it positive. Let's keep out toxic energy. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. I'm going to steal GT, trust the process, and drop that beat. And like Nikki says, find something you love and have fun doing it. These are not just things to say. The garden should bring you joy. Your home setting should bring you joy. And if it's not bringing you joy, let's figure out why, and let's make that better for each of us. Okay? Have a blessed week. You will not see me in these streets tomorrow, except for tomorrow evening. I will probably pop in if my Fly family is live. I'll support them. I think T-Nog is live. We'll see where I end up, but I'm trying to not spend all my evenings in multiple lives at the same time. I want to give you guys more of my attention, but Thursdays it's hard because Planter Beyond, Star Beyond, all you guys be on at the same time, so I'm hopping around, but I'm trying to be more present when I'm in a live. So you might see me not doing that as much, but bless up. Have a blessed week. Good day to you. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.